Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here now that my 2 informative videos are done for the day, and it is over 40 minutes of Q&As this morning, so go check that out if you guys want informative content. But for people who are more interested in current events in the online fitness world, that's what I'm going to cover. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about Brad Castleberry. Brad Castleberry. This kind of got started because on social media, Brittany had posted something about this, and someone we know who's a bodybuilder, but he tried to argue, I don't know, I think the guy's real. But the plates, if they weren't real, they wouldn't be bending the bars at all, which, again, someone doesn't know physics, and we'll get into that in a minute. And it would just be too hard to sneak fake weights into a gym. It would just be too much trouble. So, the guy got belligerent at that point as we tried to argue, because you guys know how some people are who are so deluded with some of this stuff. And it's really scary when you go watch stuff on his page that there are people who honestly believe that he's lifting the weights that he is. And some of them maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But it's hard to tell because we know he's probably using fake weights. And I'm going to break down in a second for you guys his biggest lifts and show you why. Because basically he would be the strongest power lifter in the world. All right, he is lifting weights that no one at his weight, in some cases no one at any body weight has ever hit in a competition. All right, that's important. People don't just walk in and gym lift world records and beat world records, weighing 50 pounds less than people who lift less than them, who are the best of the best. It's not how it works in the real world. Surely most people can grasp that concept. There's enough people competing in strength sports that records don't fall very easily anymore. I mean, it takes sometimes a record usually stands for a few years at least before someone comes along and beats it by 5 pounds. So here's the point. It's either easier to believe that he is a world record holder and just doesn't compete in anything and just chooses not to just show up at a powerlifting meet and set records, world records mind you, or he's somehow sneaking fake weights into a gym. And I'm just shocked that people are actually that naive that it would be hard to get fake plates. Just go online, do a little bit of Googling, look for fake weights, fake plates. There are websites that sell this stuff. And a lot of them look exactly like the hex plates that he's using. He just went and ordered this stuff on the internet. And that's just the ridiculousness of it. And what I mean, I saw one squat video, and it's hard to even say anymore because we know he has fake weights. And I'll break down why. It's hard to say what he really squats or really lifts because we don't actually know how many fake plates he's using at any given time. But I saw him went and checked to see what he's lifting because I had to look around because this topic came up. And I seen him do what looked like a legitimate 585 squat for a single. You know what? He says he weighs about 245. Am I getting that right? And that looks about right for his height. Pretty lean guy, pretty big guy. No one's saying the guy's tiny or weak. But, his size, I would expect a 585 raw squat. I think that's totally reasonable. I believe that one could be real. He has other videos of him squatting 600, 700, 750 pounds. And it doesn't look any harder for him than 585 did. And then the craziest thing, I'm going to flip in here, is a photo of him that he put up on Instagram, his most recent photo, I believe. When I count the plates, I believe that's 945 pounds on the bar, supposedly. Anyone go look at the squat records? Now, he weighs 245. These are the world records non-drug tested. These means these guys can use as much drugs if they want. I decided to pull some numbers up. All right, Eric Lillibridge, raw squat with no reps, in the 308 class, up to 308 pounds, it's 920. So technically, Brad is lifting more weight than the 308-pound class world record holder undrug tested. All right, Ray Williams is squatted over 1,000 raw, but he's also well over 300 pounds. He's a super heavyweight. The 242 class, 242, which would probably be the class Brad would find himself if he just cut a few pounds of water, it'd be easy enough, is 828. All right, 828 pounds. Now, you mean to tell me that this guy, as young as he is beating the world record holder by over 100 pounds on the squat? I mean, to be honest with you, The number of guys in his weight range who can even squat over 700 is relatively rare. They're out there, but there aren't many guys. There's only a handful of guys squatting over 700 pounds at around 240. There aren't many. You're talking way less than 1% of people who compete in that weight. Less than 1% of power lifters, way less than 1% squatting over 700. Put that in perspective. You got him showing even other videos claiming 750, but then he throws one up at 945 with his fake plates on there. And the only reason he stopped there because he's loaded all the way to the edges of the bar. That's all that it'll hold. Seriously? Really, dude? Then he's got his bench press that he's put up. You count the plates on it. People are calling it around 750. Technically, if the plates were 45s, it would be 765 pounds. Now, looking around at it, the original video I saw that was that we saw that was sent to us, a guy gave a pretty good diagnosis of all the flaws in it. Obviously, that's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that much. And people need to understand, bars bend when you get weights near the end. Meaning, if I were to put 300 pounds on a bar, and I have no doubt this guy can bench press 300 pounds. I have no doubt about it at all. Should be pretty easy for him. He could probably rep that out. But if you put 300 all the way on the ends, it changes the leverage. The bar will bend. All right, the bar will bend. Versus if they're all the way into the collars. It's a lot more leverage. Again, it's a distance. It affects, it's basically a lever. So this whole idea that the bar wouldn't bend is absurd. But 765, that's actually higher than the raw record. The raw record that was broke just a couple years ago is now 726. So is that right? Am I getting it right? 726? And it was 722 5 years ago. So this guy has come in and beat the all-time super heavyweight raw bench presses with a gym lift on camera and wants us to believe it. While weighing in the 240s, no one has ever benched 700 pounds in competition that I'm aware of. Weighing 240 pounds in that weight category. In the 242 class, nobody benches over 700 pounds. Nobody. Never been done. Let alone him out benching the big boys, the 300 plus pound guys. He's beating the world record holder. And he's doing it with no wrist wraps. You guys ever seen anyone's bench press a really heavy weight, 500-600 pounds in comp without wrist straps, even raw? I've never seen it done. I've never seen it done in competition. Maybe someone has done it. I've never personally witnessed it. So this guy is up here claiming to do this and using this as a claim to fame. And the scary thing is that there are actually people who believe him. And the reality is, because we know we've caught him using fake weights, we don't even know if any of his lifts are real. Okay, he's up there doing some closed grip bench with 405. Maybe he's that strong, maybe he isn't. How do we know, considering we know he's using fake weights? We know he's in the gym breaking records. He's in the gym breaking records. In fact, even if some of his other lifts, like his 750-pound squats and stuff, are actually real, a 750, in fact, I think we saw one he claimed it was like 765. He's got that number of plates on the bar, same thing he has on the bench press bar. In the 242, 828 is the world record. So even if his supposed gym list where he scales it down to where people think, oh, it's more believable as others are fake, well, 765, that's only like 63 pounds. Yeah, 63 pounds underneath the world record. What people don't understand, when you have a world record, usually in a lift like this, a raw world record, it's not like there's 5 guys that are right under it. It's usually a pretty big gap. Meaning, if you go look in meets, if there's a guy with an 828 raw record, there's most of the time only 1 or 2 other guys who are even at 800 plus. Okay? There's only going to be a tiny handful. Same thing, 765 plus. Without me even checking, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I bet you there's no more than 10 guys in the world in that weight class who are squatting that much raw without any wraps on, without any wraps or sleeves. It's relatively rare. We can leave the sleeves. Certain federations consider that raw. But I bet you there's no more than 10 guys right now in the world who can do that. And this guy is still claiming that when we know for a fact he's got fake weights. 900 plus squat. Over 700 pound bench press weighing 245 with no wrist wraps. World record stuff there. So we know he's got fake plates, and then the guy is honestly going to have the audacity to even have us believe his 750, 765 is real on his squat. I don't think it is. It's not reasonable to think it is, since we know he's got those fake plates. And he's really close. He's only 63 pounds from the world record. World record. Not national, not his state. World record. Those guys are rare. People who are within 50 or 60 pounds of a world record are usually extremely rare. No, he's using the fake plates there, and I base that on the fact that his 585, if that was a real lift, which I watched him do recently, it looked like a legitimate training max, like what someone would hit in Bulgarian training, which means his real max is at most 600 to 625, at the absolute most when psyched up and peaked for a competition. All right, based upon that 585, and I'm assuming that was a real lift, I promise you his max squat is like 620, 625. He's a strong dude, but he's using fake plates. And it just blows my mind that the guy does this and thinks he's going to get away with it. What's even scarier is that no one else is even calling him out on even the lighter lifts. At least his own fans aren't. Come on, dude. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.